Who I think has just achieved wonders, literally within government, in Germany. And it's interesting, Jane saying there were 3 cities in Wales. Michael says that in his area of the Ruhr, there are 53 cities. So Michael has been planning in that area for some time, and it was Herbie that actually told me about what they've achieved there. So I've had the first look at it, but now we're all going to have the best look at it from the man who's been heading it all, Michael Schwarze Rodrian. Michael.
Okay, thank you very much for this invitation, and I'm happy to be here in Bristol. It's the second time, and I'm very impressed just what I've seen. When I tried to prepare myself for this visit, I went into the internet getting what's happening very close to this date, and I found that picture, and it was a great pleasure yesterday to see your joy, your happiness, when this little party happened after the announcement that you are Green Capital 2015. The Ruhr cities tried to do so as a group of cities, but the EU officials said, no, sorry, it's only for cities, not for a group of cities. So my task in the moment is to prepare the European officials in Brussels to accept regions in the sense of group of cities. I will give you an overview how we have developed with a headline saying chance of change. We did not order for the change. The change happened. It's the change of old industrial areas, in our case coal and steel areas. And I'm reporting about a special project, what we're doing in this, and we're doing this now for more than 25 years, and it's called Emscher Landscape Park. And this Emscher Landscape Park is thought to be an environmental basis for a new economic development. We have a program, and I will start with that, which is named Ecology Program for this area. And the headline for the first brochure, which was printed in '92, was Nature for People. And I will focus on what do we mean with nature for people. We mean everybody and every age. All these pictures are pictures directly from Emscher Landscape Park. We're preparing infrastructures and urban qualities for any purpose. And these young boys with Turkish background living in Germany do not even notice that these important experts are just visiting one of their projects. We're installing infrastructures in environmental context and an urban context, and this is a whispering bridge. If you go between the two orange things, you can whisper and cross over the little river which is just between them. We're preparing things, and sometimes it's good we do not know that it's not too high. And the father's close to that. It's not really. We're using former industrial structures for definitely new purposes. And I can tell you these two girls have different interests, but they are on the same site. During the time people change and all ages are using the Emscher Landscape Park. And sometimes the professionals are coming. These are forest officers, as you can see, who present very proudly what they're doing in the urban forests. Botanical professors are proving if these are really new birches or very well-known birches. And artists are invited to make art in nature in these former brownfield sites. Maybe you know this lady. She was the Scottish environmental minister, and she came over with her staff to study what we're doing roundabout contamination of soil. This is a group of mayors round Paris. Grand Paris is a group of small cities that are circled around, and they wanted to know how we cooperate. This man wants to read his Sunday paper, and perhaps it's like the little boys, he's doing his daily job, but he's sitting on the hill on the new project. She's practicing music, and they just want to talk. There's all kind of social realities of part of the societies that are using these things in all different cultural background, which belongs to an agglomeration like the Ruhr. And they use all different kind of instruments to move, and they're going in groups, they're going just with a friend, and some of them in later times are using quite crazy things. I would say it's more crazy than creative to move with things like that. We're offering coffees, we are offering music, and sometimes we are offering all information about all projects at once. It's not possible, but if people try to do so, then they group together and make a whole day biking from project to project. And if the group is too big, police helps them crossing through the cities, and the neighbor is waiting what happens else. I get more systematic now in telling you what are we doing. First of all, it's a group of cities. It's a group of cities in the west of Germany, and it's a group of cities that has always been a group. There's not one big city and the other at the edge, but they went up, they grew up all at the same time since the mid of the 19th century, and they grew because of industrial development. 53 cities was already mentioned, 11 big cities, 4 districts, and altogether 5 million people living at the Ruhr. 3 rivers going to Father Rhine. The story of the Ruhr is the story of change, and it's a story since several decades. So I'm reporting about things that we did or discovered or learned by doing in the last years, and today we think it's a way of an integrated approach, an integrated strategy for sustainable tomorrow. It is the story of decline. It's the decline of production amounts. It's the decline of workers, of miners, of steel workers, etc. And it's a story that really ends soon. In 2008, the last German hard coal mine will be closed because subsidizing of production costs has its end. Government has decided so. Several economy agencies have decided so, and the industry itself as well. So what we have to do is this change from manufacturing industries to knowledge-based industries. And what's very, very typical now, and which is the opinion of all participants, is we're doing it together. We went through the same processes, we learned the same stories, and so the future has to be together. There are several fields of activities to renovate a region. It's not one subject, not one topic, and you do all the others. So it's not only cooperating of neighbors, cooperating of cities, it's also cooperating of different sectors that have an idea what the future of the Ruhr will be. And I will speak about one of these sectors. The Emscher Landscape Park is an idea to create a park in the dense corridor of the cities. It's not an idea of a general regional park collecting all agricultural things at the edge. It is the idea to create a park in the center. Mr. Klaus Töpfer, who was one of the former directors of the United Nations Environment Program, was invited to the Ruhr, and he gave 4 reasons why it may be interesting to look at the Ruhr. And he said transformation is practice, recycling of old building is practice, a renewing of the economy is going on, and it's based on cooperation. So if you keep that in mind, he had made a good lesson, and I could stop now. What is really important for the people may be this. You know already that this is the grass from the football site, and the Dortmund team, one of our two important football playing, was dreaming of getting the national championship, and they did twice. 2012, it was the second time, and as you know, London was calling lately. That was on our streets, and we tried to win against Munich. You already know the Bavarian were better, and so we were looking on how the British media followed us, and we discovered that our coach is quite well known and in a good situation, and this is from British papers. This was not in German papers. So I thought, okay, Dortmund made a good game in this championship. When we started with this changing and rethinking what we're doing, we had complicated questions to answer. Is it right that we pull everything down? Are we using the right tools? What is it worth? What are the results that we get? And how to use 500-hectare brownfield at the same time. We came to the result that it's not so attractive and that we have to turn around to rethink this decline. Our method is a combination between strategy and project, and this is the combination of different skills and very often different people. Our approach today is how can we develop these old sites into an integrated way, which means we're not only looking for business on old business sites. We can do a lot of things on these great areas. Things have changed, and it has something to do with identity and cooperation. So we are no more sad that we are no so strong than yesterday, but we got our back again, saying it's our industrial heritage is our identity. That's the unique thing, and that's the ground to go on. It started with the International Building Exhibition in 1989 to 99, a 10 years experiment, do things different. Please do things different. 17 cities joined that, and Karl Ganser was the moderator for 10 years to do this. It included head projects, and the head project number one was the Emscher Landscape Park, in the sense, let's collect all these vacant land, these derelict land, these contaminated lands, and change them to be a regional and urban cities park. As you can see, there were several themes, and we can talk about this, I think, in the afternoon. What are the other topics? I mentioned at the very beginning, the idea is urban landscape to be the basic for urban economy. And as you can see, you can stand with a project for a longer time, and you can still have the joy to do so.
Handsome lad.
We advertised these things from the very beginning in the media, and we also made comparisons like this with Berlin, or with this with New York, just telling it's not the idea of a great gardening program, it's an idea of a complex development of the urban landscape. Karl Ganser put a book together at the end of these 10 years, and that's the back side of the book. So it's a network, it's more 100 projects, 17 cities, each project individually, and it's a network for tomorrow. On the front page, he put it much more dramatic, is love at the second sight, in the sense of it's worth to identify the personality of even of an old region, and then you can identify where are the power, where are the potentials to bring in a new development. If you do this 10 years with 17 cities and 100 projects, he had to work together with 600 people in these 17 cities. So they all learned different things beside making the projects, And so cooperation now is a standard between these cities. After the IBA, there was the idea how to continue with the park idea after this extraordinary workshop. And we discussed a year, where are we going? How is the importance of this park idea for the economy? What are the single sites we should go in? And what is an idea of a draft of the master plan? We discussed this draft in 104 meetings in the 20 cities. This is not so much. 20 cities, 5 meetings per city was for a relevant thing, a normal thing. But we did it in a half a year, and after this half a year, we could publish the ready master plan itself, which is a map, a park, a book, a DVD, and which tells us now by 20 cities, city hall decisions, that in my town, this is the part of the park, and these are the projects that we're doing together. It includes existing projects that we have already done, and it includes the projects that are ahead of us. We included the existing because of maintenance. It's not good just to do everything new and then forget about what we have opened yesterday. And we're creating an own park infrastructure. We continue with making plans. I'm running out of my time. And currently we're talking about climate change, and we're talking about how to integrate climate change, urban development, and educational development. And we're carrying these ideas to the European Union. Our mayors are going to Brussels now, presenting these ideas, and Brussels reacts in the sense we are interested. We want to know what regions are planning for their future. I give you now some examples of what we've done. Zollverein may be the best known because the whole area became World Heritage, and it is now visited by several people a year, and I just focus on one part of this project. We had the question what to do with the space in front of cookery ovens, nearly 100-meter long, when we not pull it down. We had no experience with that. We had no answer. So we made an international competition. What should we do? How should we handle these dimensions? It was a British Spears and Mayer from London who gave us a very, very good answer. They said, why not putting a mirror in front of your ovens? Why not to behave like we've done hundreds of years before with castles? Make a water bassin in front of that, and it will definitely change. We did so. Very low-tech solution, but brilliant in its effect, and it came out to be the attraction for a lot of people. You can go there visiting to concerts. You can go there with your lover. You can go there skating in the winter. And you can surely visit a lot of theater and cultural events on that site. Spears and Mayer also invited us to switch on the light, a very soft red light to the ovens and a cold blue light for the chemical part of this cookery. And during the day, every week, every month, the whole year, every time, you will find private people standing there, I want to make this photo by myself. So it came to be a very standard destination. 1.5 million are the average number of visitors a year that are coming to this thing. Governors, mayors, chancellors are coming there, ministers of the EU are coming there, and even royalties are coming there. And so we had the British as well there, and the best thing what he could give was the bid book for the capital of culture. And we had other royalties coming there as well, like the Dutch. The Queen of Netherlands was saying goodbye before she resigned, and she was traveling through several countries, so she came to the Ruhr, and I had the honor to moderate a conference about the importance of water, because water is the subject and the sustainable behavior with water of the newly designed king and in those days it was the Prince of Orania. The renewal of the water system, Emscher, is part of our project. It's a very cost-intensive thing. It's 4.3 billion that we have to invest. We have used our river for more than 100 years as a wastewater canal because of coal mining, because of the industry, etc. And we have decided to stop that, to give livable rivers back to this, what we have done and treated wrong. So if you hear about Emscher Landscape Park, you also hear Emscher, which is the name of the river. So we're redoing all the veins and arteries of our body. And by the way, we can convert also all the edges. We have to invest a lot in the underground, and we're starting now to change the rivers, the little rivers at the edges, and at the end, the main river as well. Whenever it's possible, we are recycling what industry left. And industry left a lot of tracks of heavy industry, heavy transport, and we're connecting them to a bike system. It's, the next thing is this high speed, a bike speedway, but that's a little bit more in the future. We started with the Emscher Park bikeway in the 90s. We're collecting now every old track, and we're converting them from rail to trail. We are including old bridges, and we are installing new bridges wherever it is necessary to connect and to close the circle. And each of these bridges has to have a fine design. Each of these bridges gives the people the understanding that we take it serious. Some of them are more cost-extensive than a standard bridge, but people are proud now for these new connections. And each of these bridges are results of competitions. And so we have a free selection of architects, engineers, and companies who are able to create a new attractivity by doing engineering pieces. Some of them are more picturesque, others are really functional, and you can understand architects love the one and don't love the others, but that's there for them. As you can see, there are quite a lot, and I could come over just to give you a presentation about bridges at the Emscher Park. Very important is that we have these old infrastructures, and they are as attractive because they are so robust, and they had to carry much more weight in earlier days than just bikers today. This infrastructure includes recycling, and it also includes offering some new infrastructures like benches, etc. That's the last one that we have opened. You can see clearly this is a bridge. This was an artist who was invited to a bridge competition, and he said, I'd like to pull out a slinky spring, which he was remembering from his childhood, over this canal, but I'm not a bridge builder. And a bridge builder said, you have a brilliant idea, let's cooperate. So this is working together between a bridge builder and an artist, and they finally did it, and I did it in a very fine way. And you can see that you have to go up until you are on the size of this canal, because you have to be 8 meters over the water because of the great ships that are passing by. And in 2011, we opened that. You see that picture from 2011, and if you now carefully look, this is last week, last Sunday, and I went up there with the camera and saw something has changed compared with before. And you've already noticed what has changed. He's falling in love with her. This is definitely clear, and she loves that. It's also very clear. But they are not alone. There are these locks that are hanging over there, and each lock is very individually telling a love story of somebody else. We don't know who they are, but they have different tastes, different character, as you can see by what kind of locks they are using and what kind of writings are put on these things. So they are in love, but a lot of people as well, and they show this on this bridge. As night, we are we're switching light on this as well, so a new landmark is coming up. Landmarks are quite an interesting thing to set signals in this great region. So We make projects, we set signals, and we try to connect that. And they're quite different things. Landscape Park Duisburg Nord is worldwide the best known thing, the transformation of a former blast furnace steel site into a public park. Lit up at night, again, with a British light artist who is doing this wonderful work. The tetrahedron is a 60-meter triangle construction without any sense, which we put on a hill of coal mining area. Until the day it was opened, people opposed, said, what a stupid thing. You're throwing away tax money. Since it's open, it is the tetrahedron of Bottrop. It is the signal of this city. And everybody is pushed or pulled up to the very top to see that. We're putting horizon astronomy on that so that you can visit the stars at night. We put on sculptures on that. And that's the last one what we put on. It's just these modern times. Tiger and Turtle is the name. I can tell you, you cannot run around, even if you are running so much, so hard as you want to. Physically, we are not able to do so. But all the other things you can really access. The gasometer Oberhausen is, again, something what we did not pull down. We changed the cylinder into an exhibition hall. We fixed the gas disc in 5 meters. So we have an exhibition hall under the gas disc with 3,000 square meters. And we have a room over the gas. And this is the picture looking to the top. And there's more than 100 meters looking indoor in a building. That's the current show that is given there. And it's up till 30th of December. Yeah, please keep that in mind. 30th of December this year that you still can go in there. We had the vernissage on the 5th of March, and it's Christo. It's no more Christo and Jean-Claude because she died, but it's still Christo, and he put in a wonderful installation. It is called a big air package. It's the greatest air package in the world. It's without any structure. It's just blown like a balloon. And it's standing in the gasometer, and you just get a first idea how this works. And it's 100 meter, nearly 100 meter high. It's not leaning at the edge. It's just standing in the center. And you can drive up, you can look on that, and you may think, well, that's not very interesting. But the important thing is you can go in. And if you go into this, you are in a room with no edge. You are in a white cathedral, and you can look as far as you can. And I can tell you it's definitely an impression that you have never had before. And I guess you only get it here and only once. So if you miss it this year, you will only see pictures about that, but we did not get this personal thing. So let me come to the end. If you do a program like that for 25 years, people change. Some stay a while, but then they get retired. I think this is not so far. And we have to get new contacts if we want to continue things like this. And in this case, we asked a DJ to make a techno party on one of our hills. And immediately the media was there. And a lot of people who have no idea what we're doing there were attracted by a techno party on the hill. The TV people asked for more information. And it was a sunset picnic. We had very luck with the weather because it was the sun really was there. It was not raining. It was a Saturday night. We had several thousand people having a several hours party and dancing on that hill. Maybe the participants did not know so much about our program. But they left this night, they left this Saturday, and they have heard it has something to do. It's called Emscher Landscape Park. Thank you very much for your attention.